I graduated with a BFA from Massachusetts College of Art in 1959, so I'm an old bag. And married 2 weeks later, had 3 children, taught in the Hingham Public Schools, south of Boston, for 25 years, K through 6, then junior high, high school. I taught college level, group vocational high school teachers from Framingham State. All men, 36 of them. It was quite an experience. And for the past, since 1997, I have taught adults here at the Arts Bonita and at Naples Art Association. At the age of 50, I was teaching full-time. My children were either out of college or already in. I had the opportunity to study at Lesley University in Cambridge, Mass. They cross-referenced with professors from Harvard, and they had an outreach program worldwide for nursing, for education. So I got my master's of education when I was 52. It's a 2-year program, and I've been teaching forever, for over 50 years. Actually, yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Painting a still life in white, and it's a fascinating project, I think, because white is not a color, and Richard Schmid says that in the paragraph in one of his books. It is involved when you're talking about the TV and you're talking about color on TV. White has to take place electronically with cyan, magenta, and yellow. So there are colors in the white. But when you're talking about a tube of paint or a little square of watercolor paint, it's white. It doesn't have any color. So we want to give the white some oomph. And that way, what we're going to do is we're going to paint on these little foam boards with oil paint. And you're going to use, it's a limited palette. This is it. And my inspiration was Giorgio Morandi, who was an Italian artist who, instead of painting bright, vivid paintings, he preferred muted colors. And I have information on him up here, and I also have my steps for the paintings that I did. So if you didn't get it in an email, you can use your phone and photograph what I have here. And I have a still life story about Morandi. And I have my Sergeant Savoya and Sargent books that you can browse through if you haven't seen them, to see how they painted white and the colors that they used. So we're using a limited palette. We're going to use white, burnt umber to sketch first. Now I did trace the drawing, so to save time, I did that on each one of these. But I have many extras. And Nancy Yoakum brought in little canvases. She has generously donated. She brought in these plastic palette knives. I have 10 of my regular palette knives, and then I have a ton of these. If you want, so you can take whatever you want and take it home. If you don't want to use one of these to paint on, then take a canvas, take one of the foam board. I loved painting on this foam board because you can wipe it off if you don't like it, and I used palette knife, and I scraped on it, and it just got some fun textures on it. Now, you mentioned Karen Margolis, and I was painting at high tide yesterday with Betty Wentworth and Kathy Deedy, and I was showing them how to do this, how I did it, and then I decided to put some pastel on here, And then I thought to myself, what if I could do pastel first and then oil paint on top? So I Googled. Guess who I came up with? Karen Margulis. Oh, Karen Margulis has done this. You apply pastel first and then oil paint on top. And what I've done with, I started this one yesterday with the pastel, but this one, I didn't treat the foam board. I just went right on it. I used a palette knife, I smeared some paint on it, and then I scraped it, and then I brushed it with the brush. And when the oil paint was dry, I let it, I put a thin layer on. I mixed the paint with Gamblin Galpit gel. I love it. And that makes the paint flow easily and it dries. Doesn't take months, maybe in a day or two. It's dry to the touch with a thin application of paint. So I let that dry, and then I had so much fun. I applied clear gesso on top, so you get that tooth that will hold pastel. And then I thought, well, this is so small. And when you're working small, it takes forever. It takes longer than when you're working on a large piece, a large canvas. So I thought, well, that's so small, I'm going to use my pastel pencils on it. And that's what I did on there. This is Nancy Nokens. She played with it on canvas. And I also, when you're done with your painting, I have parchment paper. Nothing sticks to it. Tape won't stick to it. You can put it on top of your tile and it will protect it so you can take it home. So I have that there. Then for painting, I have value comparison. You put it next to a color. You can see which value the color is. Color gets all the credit. The old saying, value does all the work. Okay. And then I have this one that I use outside, for landscapes. And this is great. It also has a grid on the back too. And then there's this one that gives you the different harmonies that you want as you move the wheel around. Part of my essential premise, I've had them for years, has nothing to do with age. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why instead of standing up here painting and demoing for you, I'd be going all over the place. When I paint or I draw, I have my own system to control it. I've had people say to me, if you have essential premise, how do you paint? I said, you do it. I've been doing it all my life, and I manage. But with this was fun. I could rest my hand on this little ledge and then work on it. So, I could control it and rest my elbow. Where there's a will, there's a way. This is a tube ringer. So for my paints, get a tube out here. When I teach, I share everything I know, so bear with me. And that's who I am.
Talk about organized, right?
Yeah, she is. Thank you.
I taught for 25 years under full contract, K through 6, 800 students a week, 2 buildings. I had a headquarter building, and then my lunch half hour, I jumped in the car, I grabbed my sandwich, I drove to the next building, ate my lunch in the car, came in. Or if I didn't have to, I had a half day when I didn't have to go to the other building. That was parents, when they came in for conference. I had my sit down in the teacher's lounge, and I would open my mouth to bite my sandwich, and they come at me. Ruth, I want to do this project. Ruth, I want to do that. And I would say, just leave a note in my mailbox 2 weeks before. I will integrate it with math, language studies, whatever you want. So that's how I'm, And if I ever lost my plan book, I'd be dead. Absolutely, my life was in it. And when I retired, I had a whole stack of planning books. So basically, I probably had, when you think 25 years, times 800 a week. And the parents, herein lies the rub. The parents, my little Johnny in the second grade is very talented, and you gave him a B. And they'll keep him on Princeton. You wouldn't believe. Anyway, I digress. Okay. Now, for colored pencils.
You were doing your
The paint roller.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay. Here you go. You take the cap off. Oh, and to take the cap off. So if you have,
I can't open it.
if you
That's a
have a
great idea.
problem, you just take the nutcracker and the cap will come off.
Great idea.
So I've been doing it for years. All right, and now with the tube bringer, you just put the tube in here, turn, and the paint comes out. And I'll do it on here. Wait a minute. I have
Okay, so you know how it sticks out a bunch. So what you do when you do this, you always knock the tube, just knock it down a little bit,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
and then it goes inside. And then you just take a paper towel.
Really? Yeah.
No, that's how I do it.
Betty, and, yeah, they said,
They forgot.
they forgot. We'll have to remind them. So now I have plenty of paper towels down there, I've got a roll up here. This is the color chart for the colors you'll be using today. Get up there. Okay. Okay. So now I'm just gonna wipe it off, and then the cap can go back on, and it will be clean, so the cap won't stick. Okay, I have trash bags over here, so you can just dump everything you want. Now, for colored pencils, for sharpening them, this RUIA pencil sharpener will do pit pastels. That's it. Otherwise, it will eat up others. So if you don't want to eat up the wood, you just, here's sandpaper thing, and you just rub it, and that will give you a fine point. And, or, I have this husky, and this, okay, this is a great pencil sharpener. And you can do it in here. It will not break the wood. It won't break the wood. I've been a printmaker for over 40 years, amongst other things. And years ago, when we were working with plexiglass and doing monotype printmaking, we used oil-based inks, oil-based paints. We used baby oil to clean the brushes, to clean off the plates like a charm, because people were allergic to some of the solvents in the studio. Been using it for years. I put some, after I finish oil painting, I put some on paper towel, Aviva usually, but I don't have any Aviva today, I ran out. And Costco didn't have any. I will wipe the brush with that and then take it home and put it in a little container with Dawn liquid dish detergent for a couple of hours, and the hairs are beautiful, soft and fine. So this works like a charm. Use it all the time. Again, if I
You know what else works really well, which I learned?
What?
The rubbing alcohol that we use for pastel.
Yeah.
Cleans the palette really nicely.
really, I have to try that. I know I use 70%. That's
Yeah,
it.
that works
Yeah.
great.
Good to know. Zoe,
I have one more addition to that. My husband works in mechanics. He told me the WD-40 will take anything off your hands and is petroleum based.
I've got the palette knife here. You can use these as a palette or the paper that's on here, the palette paper. So it's your choice. Oh, if you paint, if you take, once the oil painting underlayment is dry, and again, a couple of days, maybe if you mix it with the gel, then you can apply the clear gesso. And that dries pretty fast, and it gives it a nice tooth. The surface has a nice tooth that will accept the pastel. So you can build up, you can, I don't know, maybe 3 layers of pastel on top of that. Now, again, it has tooth. It does have grit.
It has grit.
Yeah, it does. So, and these are wonderful, lightweight foam board. You can treat them. They would have to, if you have a little painting on it that you're really happy with, have to go under glass for preservation. Because I don't know, these are supposed to be acid-free, but nevertheless, it's still like a paper product. And anything that is a paper product has to go under glass to preserve. So I have everything set up here, and you're going to work with me.
Oh,
This
good.
is going to be an interactive.
Okay.
If you need a cover, we have something to protect your clothing. Yeah, Zoe.
When you were saying with the gesso, so you're saying you did an oil painting first and then put gesso over it and then
Correct.
pastel?
Correct.
Wow.
So the oil painting, I mixed with a little gel, and you're going to use, for the first application, a generous mix of white with a tiny bit of ultramarine and burnt umber, okay? So that will, they're complements, so they will gray down, they'll neutralize, and that's what you can do to create your drawing. If you don't want to do this, as I said, just mix out a generous amount of white with a tiny bit of ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Mix those together with a palette knife. And then just dip the brush in a little bit of gel. And then do your outline. Follow whatever you want to sketch. If you don't want, or you can go around these. I have them all drawn if you want. Or you can take a clean one, and do your own drawing. But use that color combination for your sketch, because it'll be light gray, it'll be neutral. Then the next thing is we're going to go into the background. You'll look, you know what? I didn't take the photographs out. I have to get the photographs for the still life. Or you can look at these. You want to do the background along with the object, so that you're working on the whole piece at once. That makes it then work better together. You want to really squint, look at the values. Any more questions? Feel free.
Okay.
I'm a wealth of information and trivia.
Did you mix your oil with Samsol? What did you say?
With Galca gel, Gamblin Galca gel. I've got it right here. Don't play. Yeah, right here. Galca, Galkyd. Oh, gloves. I have latex-free gloves, which is what I wear all the time. So I think I have, maybe 20 pairs, something like that. There's plenty for everybody. So, and I have my own in my pocket. So I think that's it. I have tape if you need it for anything. I think we're pretty well set. So we have ultramarine blue in order, burnt umber, cadmium orange, cadmium green, alizarin crimson permanent. This is our limited palette. Color mixing Bible. It is terrific for oil paint, watercolor, pastels, wash. And on the back here, there's mixing whites in soft pastels down here. Okay, get to work, folks.